Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into LangGraph, a pretty amazing framework that helps us build AI that can actually think in cycles, a lot like we do. It's a huge leap from simple bots that just follow instructions, to agents that can reason, reflect, and even change their minds.
Okay, so let's start with a problem that's been holding AI back. You see, most simple AI thinks in a straight line. You give it an input, it does a single process, and it gives you an output. But that's not how the real world works, is it? Real-world problems are messy. They're cyclical. You have to loop back, rethink things, and branch off in totally new directions. And that's something traditional AI just isn't very good at.
For instance, think about a customer service AI. Let's say you ask about a delayed order. A simple, linear AI can check the status, sure. But can it apologize for the delay, start a refund process, and send you a discount code for your trouble all in one go? No way. It gets stuck because it's not built for that kind of complex, multi-step thinking.
So how do we solve this?
Well, we have to change the way we think about the problem. We need to move from thinking in a simple line to thinking in a powerful, flexible graph. And that is the huge paradigm shift that LangGraph brings to the table.
The first core idea here is called state. And honestly, the best way to get this is to think of it like a shared notepad. Every single part of the AI system can look at this notepad to see what's going on, and, just as importantly, it can add its own nodes for the next part of the system to read. It's the single source of truth at any given moment.
All right, next up we have nodes. So, if the state is our shared notepad, then the nodes are like the individual workstations in our AI factory. Each node is a specialist. It gets the notepad, does its one specific job. Maybe that's calling a language model, maybe it's searching the web, and then it writes its results back onto the notepad.
And finally, what connects these workstations? That's where edges come in. These aren't just dumb pipes. They're the smart pathways, kind of like the intelligent conveyor belts in our factory. They look at what was just written on the notepad and use that information to decide which workstation gets the notepad next. This is where all the critical logic and decision-making lives.
So, how do you actually build this? It's surprisingly straightforward. You just write your Python functions, you add them to your graph as nodes, and then you connect them with edges. But the real magic, the part that gives your AI its brain, is defining conditional edges. This lets you build in real logic, routing the flow based on what just happened in the last step.
Okay, now that we've got the basic structure, the graph, let's move on to the fun part, the agent's toolkit. This is where we give our AI a memory and the tools it needs to actually get stuff done.
So a really big question comes up here. This internal logic is great, but how does the agent actually do things? How does it go out and search the web or check the weather or book a flight for you?
And the answer is the tool node. This is a really handy, pre-built node that basically acts as the agent's action center. Whenever the AI decides it needs to use an external tool, like calling a weather API, it just hands that job over to the tool node. What's so cool about this is that it can run multiple tools at the same time, and it even has error handling built right in, so the whole system doesn't crash if one little thing goes wrong.
Of course, for an agent to be truly useful, it needs a memory. It has to remember things. LangGraph supports both short-term and long-term memory. The short-term memory is for keeping track of the current conversation, so it has context. But the long-term memory? That's for remembering your preferences over time, across many different chats, allowing for some really powerful personalization.
Okay, now this is where things get really, really exciting. Once you have all these building blocks in place, you can start creating some incredibly advanced AI teams and these sophisticated patterns that actually mimic how human experts collaborate and solve problems.
First up, let's talk about the self-refined pattern. This is just a brilliant concept. You have one AI that generates an answer, a first draft, if you will. Then, a second AI acts as a critic. Its only job is to analyze that output and provide feedback. This forces the first agent to go back, look at the critique, and improve its own work. And this cycle just keeps going until the output is good enough.
But why stop with just two AIs? You can build entire teams of specialized agents. Instead of having one AI do everything, you use a divide-and-conquer approach. For a translation task, for example, you could have a specialist for generating the translation, another for evaluating its quality, a cultural analyst to make sure it's appropriate, and a final ranker to pick the best option. And a dispatcher node acts like the project manager, routing the task to the right specialist at every step.
So all this theory sounds fantastic, right? But how do you actually get this out of your code editor and turn it into a real application that users can interact with? What does that whole journey look like?
Well, the full path from code to production really involves 3 key layers. For your backend, you can use something like LangServe to easily wrap your agent up in a powerful API. For the front end, a tool like Streamlit lets you build a web interface for your users really quickly. And maybe most crucially, for observability, you have LangFuse, which gives you a dashboard to trace and visualize every single step of your agent's thinking process so you can see exactly what's going on under the hood.
And this all leaves us with a final and, I think, pretty provocative thought. We've clearly moved way beyond simple question and answer bots. With tools like LangGraph giving AI the power to work in teams, to critique itself, and to remember past interactions, the complexity of problems we're now equipped to solve has just fundamentally changed. So the question is, what challenges are we ready to take on next?